You have been lied to. You were told to be resilient, to bounce back. That is a loser's mindset. Bouncing back just means returning to where you started. We are not here to survive hardship. We are here to gain from it. This is not about resilience. This is about anti-fragility. Listen to these words. Pain is a teacher. Chaos is an opportunity. Disorder is your fuel. This audiobook is your training manual. Your old mind will be broken. A new one will be forged. Pay attention. Chapter 1. The Great Lie. Why Bouncing Back Keeps You Weak. You have been fed a lie. It's a comfortable lie. It's a popular lie. It's whispered in corporate boardrooms, in self-help seminars, and in quiet conversations with well-meaning friends. The lie is the word resilience. You are told to be resilient. You are praised for your resilience. You are taught to bounce back from hardship, to get knocked down and get right back up, right back to where you started. That is the trap. Bouncing back is the most mediocre goal you could possibly set for yourself. Bouncing back just means you survived. It means you took a hit, you endured the pain, and you managed to crawl back to the baseline. Survival is not victory. Enduring is not winning. Resilience endures. Anti-fragility conquers. Let me be clear. The resilient mind is a rubber band. You stretch it, you put it under stress, and when the stress is gone, it snaps back to its original shape. It never changes. It never grows. It just endures. And eventually, after being stretched too many times, that rubber band becomes brittle. It snaps. We call this burnout. The anti-fragile mind is a muscle. When you put a muscle under stress, when you tear it in the gym, it does not bounce back. It does not return to its original state. It heals, and it heals stronger than it was before. It requires the stress to grow. It uses the load to transform. You have a choice. You can spend your entire life as a rubber band, desperately trying to snap back to a normal that was never good enough in the first place. Or you can become the muscle. You can become the mind that demands distress, that seeks the challenge, because you know that the challenge is the only thing that creates growth. Resilience endures. Anti-fragility conquers. Let's make this real. Let's look at two people in the exact same toxic job. First, we have the resilient employee. Let's call him Mark. Mark has a terrible boss. His workload is impossible. The company culture is poison. What does Mark do? He toughs it out. He endures. He wakes up every morning with dread, but he forces himself to go. He sits in his car and listens to a 5-minute meditation app to manage his stress. He complains to his spouse every night, draining their energy. He uses his entire weekend not to live, but to recover, just enough to go back into the fight on Monday. Mark is the rubber band. He is stretching and stretching and stretching. Years go by. Mark gets a small raise. He's still in the same job. He's tired. He's anxious. He's burned out. He has survived, but he has not changed. He has not grown. He has only endured. Now let's look at the anti-fragile employee. Let's call her Sarah. Sarah is in the same job, same toxic boss, same impossible workload, but her mindset is different. She does not see the job as a threat. She sees it as training. She sees it as data. That's the key. Her toxic boss, that's a free master-level class in what not to do. She studies his bad management techniques. She identifies every single mistake he makes with clients. The impossible workload? That is a free high-pressure boot camp for productivity. She is forced to learn how to prioritize, how to automate tasks, and how to negotiate unrealistic expectations. She is building new skills because of the pressure, not in spite of it. The company's inefficient systems? That is market research. She sees every single flaw, every single gap in the market that her company is failing to fill. Sarah is not enduring her day. She is using it. She is not going home and recovering. She is going home and building. She uses her salary to save aggressively. She uses her nights to get a new certification. She uses her lunch breaks to network, not to complain with her coworkers, but to build relationships with the clients her boss is failing them. She is not a rubber band. She is a muscle. The stress is making her stronger. Then the day comes. The company has layoffs. Mark, the resilient employee, is let go. He is destroyed. His identity was the job. His resilience finally snaps. He is back to zero, but now he is broken. What about Sarah, the anti-fragile employee? She doesn't get laid off. She quits. She takes the skills she built under pressure, the network she cultivated, and the market research she gathered. She starts her own consulting business, and in 6 months, she has stolen her old company's 3 biggest clients because she knows exactly what they need and exactly how her old boss was failing them. Do you see the difference? Mark endured the stress and it broke him. Sarah used the stress and it built her. Resilience endures. Anti-fragility conquers. You have to stop worshiping resilience. It is a trap. It is the dogma of the mediocre. It gives you permission to stay in bad situations. It gives you an excuse to stay the same. You don't need permission to change. You don't need anyone to tell you it's okay to stop enduring and start conquering. It's not about handling the pressure. It's about using the pressure. It's not about bouncing back to who you were. It's about evolving into who you must become. The fragile mind breaks under pressure. The resilient mind endures the pressure. The anti-fragile mind transforms because of the pressure. This is the central truth of this entire audiobook. Every hardship, every failure, every moment of chaos and disorder is a choice. It is a choice to be a rubber band or a choice to be a muscle. You can be the person who says, "Why is this happening to me?" Or you can be the person who says, "How can I use this?" This is the shift. This is the new mindset. You will stop seeing pain as a punishment and start seeing it as an information. You will stop seeing stress as a threat and start seeing it as a stimulus. This is not easy. This is work. It requires you to stop being a passive victim of your life and start being an active architect of your strength. You must reject the lie of resilience. You must demand more from yourself. The goal is not to return to baseline. The goal is to create a new baseline. The goal is not to survive. The goal is to win. You have rejected the lie. You have accepted the new mission. You are ready to stop enduring. You are ready to conquer. But first, you must identify your starting point. You must look in the mirror and ask yourself a hard question. Right now, in this moment, are you built to shatter, built to endure, or built to grow? That is what we will find out. Chapter 2. Are you glass, rock, or muscle? Look at yourself. Right now. In the last chapter, we destroyed the lie of resilience. We ended the fantasy of bouncing back. So the question is no longer if you will change. The question is how. Before you can build, you must diagnose. You must understand your current state. When the world hits you, and it will hit you, how do you respond? In all of life, there are only three states of being. Three. You are glass, you are rock, or you are muscle. That's it. There is no other option. You must identify which one you are, and you must be honest. First, let's look at the fragile, the glass. The glass object is rigid. It is complex. It thrives on one thing and one thing only: predictability. It needs the world to be smooth, orderly, and calm. The moment you introduce a shock, the moment a small, unexpected stressor hits it, it shatters. It does not bend. It does not learn. It simply breaks. The fragile mind is the same. This is the person who has a perfect 5-year plan. This is the person whose entire identity is tied to their job title, their relationship status, or their bank account. They spend all their energy trying to predict and prevent chaos. They are terrified of uncertainty. To the fragile mind, stress is the enemy. It is a threat to be avoided at all costs. When they get a negative review, they collapse. When they get unexpected news, they panic. When their perfect plan is disrupted, they fall apart. Why? Because their entire system is built on the absence of stress. They have no capacity for disorder. They are brittle. They are weak. They shatter. Second, we have the robust, the rock. This is the state you were told to admire. This is the resilience we talked about in Chapter 1. The rock is strong, it is dense, it is stubborn. When a shock hits the rock, nothing happens. It just sits there. It resists. It endures. The robust mind is the person who toughs it out. This is the person who grits their teeth, ignores the pain, and just keeps going. They don't break. They don't shatter. They just stay the same. And you think that's good, isn't it? No, it is a trap. The world is dynamic. The world is always changing. A static strategy in a dynamic world is a losing strategy. The rock resists the shock, which means it learns nothing from it. The stress hits it, and the stress is ignored. To the robust mind, stress is not the enemy, it's just noise. It's something to be tuned out. The rock does not break, but it never grows. It never adapts. A river of chaos can flow around that rock for 1,000 years and it will still be the same rock, just a little more worn down. Is that what you want? To just be worn down? To survive but never ever change? You don't need their permission to stop being a rock. Finally, we have the anti-fragile, the muscle. The muscle is different. The muscle does not fear stress. It does not ignore stress. The muscle demands stress. It feeds on stress. When you go to the gym, you apply a shock to the muscle. You create disorder. You tear the fibers. If the muscle were fragile, it would shatter. If the muscle were robust, it would ignore the weight and stay the same. But it is neither. It is anti-fragile. The muscle responds to that shock, that information, by doing one thing: rebuilding stronger than it was before. It doesn't bounce back to baseline. It creates a new baseline. This is the mindset. This is the goal. To the anti-fragile mind, stress is not the enemy. Stress is the signal. It is the signal to adapt. It is the signal to learn. It is the signal to grow. The anti-fragile mind hears negative feedback and says, "Thank you for the data. I will use this to become better." The anti-fragile mind faces uncertainty and says, "This is an opportunity to build new skills." It's not about surviving the chaos. It's about eating the chaos.
Let's apply this. Let's look at a financial recession, a huge global shock. The fragile investor, the glass, sees the market crashing. His identity, his perfect plan for retirement is shattering. He panics. He sells everything at the bottom. He locks in his losses. He is broken. The stress destroyed him. The robust investor, the rock, sees the crash. He is resilient. He says, I'm just going to ignore it. I'm in it for the long haul. He closes the app. He ignores the noise. He just endures. 5 years later, the market recovers. He's back to where he started. He broke even. He survived. But he did not gain. He learned nothing. The stress was wasted. The anti-fragile investor sees the crash, and he smiles. He is not afraid. He is excited. Why? Because stress is not the enemy. Stress is the signal. The signal is that the market is on fire. The signal is that everyone else is panicking. The signal is that high-value assets are now on sale at a 50% discount. That's the key. He does not panic. He studies. He has been preparing for this exact opportunity. While the glass investor is selling in terror and the rock investor is hiding, the anti-fragile investor is buying. 5 years later, the glass investor is broke. The rock investor is back to baseline. The anti-fragile investor has permanently doubled his wealth. He did not survive the disorder. He profited from the disorder. Do you see? You have a choice. You can be the glass, shattered by a single email. You can be the rock, stubbornly ignoring the world as it changes around you. Or you can be the muscle, actively using the world's chaos to make you more powerful. This is the diagnosis. Look at your life. Look at your career. Look at your relationships. When the pressure comes, do you shatter? Do you resist? Or do you grow? Be honest. Most of you are glass. Some of you have trained yourself to be rock. From this day forward, neither is acceptable. The goal is to become the muscle. The goal is to train your mind to see every single stressor as a signal. But a muscle does not grow by thinking about growing. A muscle only grows when it is challenged. It does not grow in comfort. It does not grow in the safe zone. It only grows when you hunt the stressor. You know what you need to be. Now you must learn how to build it. You must stop waiting for life to hit you and start intentionally seeking the challenges that forge you. You must stop living in your cage of comfort.
Chapter 3. Hunt the Stressor. Why Comfort is Your Cage. Let's talk about your cage. You built it yourself. You polished the bars. You filled it with soft pillows. You even call it home. It's your comfort zone, and it is the most dangerous place you can live. You have been taught your entire life to seek comfort. You've been told that the goal is to build a life that is easy, a life that is predictable, a life with no shocks, no surprises, and no pain. You think your goal is to achieve comfort. This is the great lie of the modern world. This pursuit of comfort is not making you safe. It is making you fragile. It is making you glass. You are building a body that cannot handle a cold wind. You are building a mind that shatters at the first sign of criticism. You are building an existence so brittle that a single disruption, a lost job, a hard conversation, a change in plans, can bring your entire world crashing down. That's the key. Your comfort zone is a cage of your own making, and every single day you spend inside it, You are decaying. Comfort is decay. Stress is stimulus. This is the biological law of all systems. It is not an opinion. It is a fact. A system that is never stressed, never challenged, and never pushed will atrophy. It will weaken. It will die. Look at your own body. If you put your arm in a cast for 6 months, what happens? That arm is in a state of perfect comfort. No stress, no load, no challenges. When you take the cast off, is the arm strong? Is it rested? No. It is atrophied. The muscle has withered. The bone is brittle. It is useless. It is fragile.
Why? Because it received no signal to be strong. Comfort is decay. Stress is stimulus. Now, look at the opposite, the gym. You do not go to the gym to be comfortable. You go to the gym to hunt a stressor. You voluntarily pick up a heavy weight. You intentionally apply a load to your muscles, a load that is just outside your comfort zone. You create controlled disorder. The muscle tears. It experiences microtrauma. The stress is not a threat. It is a signal. It is information. The stress signals to your body, we are not strong enough for this environment. We must adapt. So the body responds. It doesn't just repair the muscle to its original state. That would be resilience. No, it rebuilds the muscle stronger than before. It adapts. It conquers the stressor. This is anti-fragility. You did not wait for a heavy object to fall on you. That is random, uncontrolled chaos. You hunted the stressor. You controlled the dose, and you gained from it. It's not about masochism. It's about adaptation. Let's look at a vaccine. This is one of the most anti-fragile concepts in all of human history. What is a vaccine? It is a controlled, intentional injection of the enemy. It is a microdose of disorder. You are purposefully introducing a small, manageable shock to your immune system. The system senses the invader, the stressor, and it learns. It builds an army. It creates a defense system. It adapts. So when the real enemy, the uncontrolled, massive virus attacks, your body is no longer fragile. It is no longer even robust. It is anti-fragile. It is prepared. It thrives in the face of the threat. It used the small, controlled shock to become invincible to the large, random one. Comfort is decay. Stress is stimulus. This is the law for your muscles, for your immune system, and for your mind. Your mind is no different. You have kept your mind in a cast. You have kept it in a sterile, comfortable, predictable cage. You read the same news that only confirms what you already believe. You talk to the same people who only agree with you. You take the same route to work every single day. You eat the same food. You never challenge your brain. Your mind is atrophying. This is why you are so afraid of new ideas. This is why you are so threatened by people who disagree with you. This is why you panic when your routine is broken. You are mentally fragile. You have a choice. You can stay in your comfortable cage, growing weaker and more brittle every day, until the day life throws an unavoidable shock at you and you shatter. Or you can open the door. You can become the hunter. You don't need their permission to challenge yourself. Starting today, you must voluntarily expose yourself to small, controlled shocks. You must hunt for stressors. This is your new discipline. Have the difficult conversation you've been avoiding. That is a hunted emotional stressor. Take a cold shower in the morning. That is a hunted physical stressor. Read a book written by someone you know you disagree with. That is a hunted intellectual stressor. Sign up for the public speaking class that garifies you. Take a different route to work. Learn a new skill that is hard. You must intentionally introduce novelty and disorder into your life.
Stop optimizing your entire existence for ease. That is a loser's game. That is the blueprint for fragility. You are not built for ease. You are built to adapt. But you cannot adapt if you are never signaled to adapt. Comfort is decay. Stress is stimulus. Your old life was a quest for comfort. Your new life is a hunt for stimulus. Every time you choose the hard path, every time you lean into the discomfort, every time you choose the weight, you are tearing down the glass. You are forging the muscle. You are teaching your mind and your body a new lesson. We do not fear the load. We demand the load. We gain from the load. You have learned to hunt the stressor. You are intentionally building your new anti-fragile self. But why? You are doing this to prepare. You are building a mind that doesn't need a perfect plan, a mind that doesn't fear the randomness of tomorrow. You must stop trying to build the perfect fragile map for the future. You must start building the all-terrain vehicle. You must stop predicting. You must start preparing.
Chapter 4. Stop predicting, start preparing. What is your 5-year plan? What is your 10-year plan? Where do you see yourself in the next decade? I want you to take that plan, that rigid, detailed, color-coded spreadsheet you have for your life, and I want you to tear it up. It is worthless. It is a fantasy, a brittle glass fantasy. It is the single greatest piece of evidence that you are still a fragile thinker. You are wasting all of your energy, all of your precious, finite mental power on one of the stupidest activities a human can engage in: prediction. You are trying to guess the future. You are trying to force a random world into your neat, orderly, comfortable box. You are begging to be broken. The fragile mind hates uncertainty. It fears randomness. So it spends its life in a state of anxious fortune-telling. If I do X and Y happens, then Z will be the outcome. And when Z doesn't happen, when the world throws a single tiny random variable into your perfect equation, you shatter. You collapse. You panic. You say, "It's not fair. This wasn't part of the plan." You are acting like a victim. The future is random. Your preparation must be intentional. This is the central discipline of the anti-fragile mind. You must stop trying to build the perfect map for a landscape that is constantly changing. You must start building an all-terrain vehicle. Let's make this real. Let's look at 2 people going on a trip. First, we have the fragile tourist. He has a plan. It is a masterpiece of prediction. He has an hour-by-hour itinerary. Every restaurant is booked 6 months in advance. Every museum ticket is pre-purchased. His route is mapped on Google, with train times calculated down to the second.
His entire trip is a rigid, fragile system that depends on the world being 100% predictable. What happens? He arrives. It's raining. The rain was not on the spreadsheet. The rain ruins his planned perfect day in the park. He is miserable. He is angry. The next day, the train is 15 minutes late. He misses his connection. This ruins his museum visit. He is furious. The plan is broken. He gets to the restaurant he booked, and it's too loud. He hates it, but he can't leave. It's in the plan. This person is not on vacation. This person is in a prison of his own predictions. He is fragile. He is hating an experience he paid thousands for, all because the random world refused to obey his spreadsheet. Now, let's look at the anti-fragile traveler. She does not have a rigid itinerary. She has a system. That's the key. What is her system? A destination. She knows where she is going. A budget. She knows what she can spend. A set of skills. She knows how to read a map. She knows how to ask for help. She is curious. She is comfortable being lost. She arrives. It's raining. She smiles. She says, "Good, this is my signal to find an indoor market." Or, "This is my excuse to sit in a local cafe for 3 hours and just watch the city." The train is late. She doesn't panic. She uses the time. She starts a conversation with a local on the platform who tells her about a hidden neighborhood she must see. She gains from the disorder. She finds a restaurant that looks good, and she walks in. It's amazing. She is not a tourist. She is a traveler. She is not predicting her experience. She is having it. She is thriving on the randomness. The future is random. Your preparation must be intentional. You have a choice. You can be the fragile tourist clinging to your 5-year plan, or you can be the anti-fragile traveler ready to conquer any terrain. It's not about having no goals. That is a common lazy mistake. It's about what your goals are. The fragile person's goal is an outcome. I will be vice president of my company by age 30. This is a prediction. It is brittle. Why? Because it depends on 1,000 random variables you do not control. A bad boss, a recession, a new technology, a corporate merger. Any one of these things shatters your plan, and you are broken. The anti-fragile person's goal is a process. I will become the most skilled, adaptive, and undeniable communicator and problem solver in my industry. Do you see the difference? The first goal is external. It depends on permission. The second goal is internal. It depends only on you. You don't need their permission to get better. The anti-fragile mind does not predict. It prepares. So what is your new preparation? Stop building a 5-year plan. Start building a skill stack. Can you negotiate? Can you write persuasively? Can you lead a team? Can you code? Can you sell? Every new skill you acquire is another tool in your kit. It makes you less dependent on one job, one boss, or one plan. Stop building a predictive budget. Start building a financial fortress. The fragile person predicts they will always have a paycheck. The anti-fragile person prepares for the day it stops. You must have a cash cushion. Call it a fuck you fund. Call it a war chest. Call it whatever you want. It is your primary tool for absorbing shock. It gives you the option to say no. It turns a catastrophe into an inconvenience. Stop predicting your feelings. Start building mental adaptability. You hunted the stressor in Chapter 3. You know what this is. You must practice being uncomfortable. You must practice dealing with small shocks, so that when the big shock comes, it is nothing. This is your new discipline. It's not about knowing the future. It's about knowing you can handle any future. The future is random. Your preparation must be intentional. You have left your cage of comfort. You have stopped trying to guess what's coming. You are now an architect of your own strength. You are building the muscle. You are building the skills. You are building the fortress. You are preparing. But what is the specific strategy for this preparation? How do you build a life that is both protected from chaos and able to profit from it? You can't just be a rock. You can't just be an opportunist. You must be both. You must build a system that is 90% extreme safety and 10% extreme risk. You are ready to stop building a fragile plan. You are ready to build an anti-fragile system. This is the core strategy of this entire book.
This is the blueprint for gaining from disorder.
Chapter 5. The Barbell Strategy. How to win big while never losing it all. This is the blueprint. Pay attention. This is not a metaphor. This is your new, practical, actionable plan for life. In the last chapters, we've broken your old mindset. You've stopped predicting. You've started preparing. You've hunted the stressor. Now you will build the system that allows you to gain from that stress. This system is called the barbell. Think of a literal barbell in the gym. On one side, you have a massive stack of heavy, safe weights. On the other side, you have a small, light stack of weights. And in the middle, nothing but a solid steel bar. Your life must be structured this way. 90% extreme, obsessive, bulletproof safety. 10% high risk, high upside, wild speculation. This is the system. The most fragile, dangerous, stupid place to live is in the middle. But the middle is where everyone lives. The balanced portfolio. The safe, moderately ambitious career path. The moderately healthy diet. The middle ground is a swampland. The person in the middle takes on moderate risk. But that moderate risk is still enough to ruin them when a true shock comes. And their moderate upside is never enough to make them truly free. The person in the middle is fragile. They're a rock that thinks it can't be broken, but it's full of hidden cracks. You are done with the middle. You are done with balance. You will now become a creature of polarity. Protect your floor, explode your ceiling. Let's build your barbell. First, we build the 90% side, the floor. This is your fortress of obsessive safety. This side of the barbell is not sexy, it is not exciting, it is robust. It is the rock from chapter 2. Its only job is to endure. Its only job is to never, ever break. This is your 90%. What does this look like?
Financially, this is your FU fund from the last chapter. This is cash. This is your emergency savings. This is not moderately risky stocks. This is money in the bank. So safe, it's boring. It's your fortress against a job loss or a medical emergency. Professionally, this is your stable, reliable source of income. It might be your boring 9-to-5 job. It might be your set of core, in-demand skills that never go out of style. It's the part of your career that cannot fail. Physically, this is your 90% commitment to not doing stupid things. This is sleeping 8 hours. This is not smoking. This is not drinking yourself sick. It is the simple, boring, robust discipline of protecting the machine. This 90% is your floor. It is the non-negotiable, concrete foundation of your life. You protect it at all costs. It is what makes you invulnerable to a random shock. This safety is not the goal. It is the tool. This 90% of safety buys you the right to build the other side. Second, we build the 10% side, the ceiling. This is where you become anti-fragile. This is your 10%, your speculation, your asymmetric bets. This is where you hunt the stressor. This is where you expose yourself to massive, unlimited upside. That's the key. This 10% is not moderate risk. It is high risk. It is the side hustle you start in your garage. It is the small amount of play money you put into a brand new speculative technology or startup. It is the wild new skill you're learning that has a 1 in 100 chance of changing your entire industry. It is the high-risk novel you are writing. Here's the rule, the only rule. A failure on the 10% side can never be allowed to damage your 90% side. If your side hustle fails, it costs you your 10% of time and money,
but your 90% floor is untouched. Your boring job still pays the bills. You are fine. If your speculative investment goes to zero, you are fine. Your 90% fortress of cash is untouched. You have a choice. You can be the middle ground person who puts all their money in a balanced fund and gets moderately wiped out in a crash. Or you can be the barbell. 90% in cash, 10% in high-risk bets. The crash happens. Your 90% is untouched. Your 10% might go to zero. You don't care. You survived. But if that 10% hits, if that one bet pays off 100 to 1, you have gained from the disorder. Let's use the example. The fragile writer. He follows his passion. He quits his job, takes out a loan, and bets everything on his first novel. He is 100% speculation. He has no floor. If the book fails, he is ruined. He is fragile. Now, the barbell writer. She has a stable, reliable government job. It's predictable. It pays well. It's her 90%. It is her floor. She is protected. She uses her nights and weekends, her 10%, to write a high-risk, experimental, wild novel. She pours her creative soul into it. Scenario 1. The novel fails. It gets rejected by every publisher. What happens? Nothing. She is fine. Her 90% floor is secure. She pays her mortgage. She learned a lesson. She will write another one. Scenario 2. The novel hits. It's a once-in-a-generation bestseller. She just exploded her ceiling. She was protected from ruin, but exposed to massive gain. She is anti-fragile. Protect your floor. Explode your ceiling. This is your new life. It's not about avoiding risk. It's about isolating it. It's not about balance. It's about polarity. You don't need their permission to stop living in the fragile middle. Build your 90% fortress so it is unbreakable. Then, use your 10% to take smart, asymmetric shots at the moon. This is the system. This is the strategy. But this strategy only works if your 90% floor is truly, absolutely bulletproof. And the fastest way to build an unbreakable floor is not by adding more safety. It is by removing every single thing that makes you weak. It's time to stop adding. It's time to start subtracting. You are ready to learn the most powerful and most counterintuitive tool of the anti-fragile mind. The tool of subtraction.
Chapter 6. The Power of Do Not. Win by avoiding stupidity. Listen, you are obsessed with addition. Your whole life is a frantic search for the next thing, the next hack, the next supplement, the next life-changing book, the next productivity app, the next secret. You think the path to strength is paved with more complexity, more information, more stuff. You are wrong. This additive mindset is making you fragile. Every new system you add is another system that can break. Every new hack you try is another point of failure. Every new thing you own is another thing that owns you. You are building a house of cards, and you are calling it optimization. Today, that stops. We are going to flip the entire script. We are going to build your strength not by adding, but by subtracting. This is via negativa, the negative way. This is the most powerful, most overlooked strategy for building an anti-fragile life. You will gain more, achieve more, and become infinitely stronger not by chasing genius, but by systematically, ruthlessly avoiding stupidity. Stop adding Start subtracting. This is the real work. This is how you build the 90% safety floor of your barbell. You don't build a fortress by adding more fancy decorations. You build it by plugging every hole. You build it by removing every weakness. Let's make this real. Let's start with your health. The fragile mind asks an additive question. What can I add to my life to be healthy? So he goes to the store. He buys 10 different vitamins. He buys an expensive superfood powder. He buys a new workout program. He has added complexity. He has added cost. And he has changed nothing. Why? Because he still drinks a liter of soda every day. He still eats processed junk food. He still only sleeps 5 hours a night. He is pouring a thimble of health into a bucket of poison. It is a losing game.
The anti-fragile mind asks a subtractive question. What am I doing that is making me sick? That's the key. The answer is obvious. It's the processed sugar. It's the alcohol. It's the lack of sleep. He doesn't need to add a $50 superfood. He needs to subtract the $2 soda. Removing the poison is 100 times more powerful than adding the supplement. Stop adding. Start subtracting. It's not about the discipline to find the perfect workout. It's about the discipline to stop eating the junk. Let's apply this to your finances. The fragile mind asks the additive question, how can I get rich fast? He is hunting for the next big thing, the hot stock, the 100x crypto coin. He is wasting his 10% speculation from the barbell without ever building his 90% floor. He is exposed, he is gambling, he is fragile. The anti-fragile mind asks the subtractive question, what is keeping me poor? He looks at his life, the answer is staring him in the face. It's the 22% interest rate on his credit card debt. It's the car payment he can't really afford. It's the 5 streaming subscriptions he never uses. It's the daily $7 coffee. This isn't an income problem. This is a stupidity problem. You don't need to find the next Amazon. You need to eliminate the 22% guaranteed loss on your credit card. That is the single greatest investment you will ever make. Eliminating debt is more powerful than picking the right stock. Removing the mindless spending is more powerful than adding a side hustle. Stop adding. Start subtracting. You have a choice. You can keep chasing positive gains, or you can eliminate the negative drain. One is a gamble, the other is a certainty. Let's apply this to your mind, your focus. The fragile mind asks the additive question, what can I add to be more productive? So he buys a new planner. He downloads 3 new focus apps. He creates a color-coded 10-step morning routine. His system is now so complex that just maintaining the system takes all his energy. He is busy, but not productive. The anti-fragile mind asks the subtractive question, what is destroying my focus? Again, the answer is obvious. It's the notifications. It's the phone buzzing on his desk all day. It's the email inbox he keeps open in a tab. It's the friends who constantly complain and drain his energy. It's the social media app he checks 40 times an hour. You don't need a new productivity app. You need to turn off your notifications. You need to delete the social media app. You need to fire your toxic friends. You don't need a to-do list. You need a do-not-do list. Do not check email before 11 a.m. Do not have your phone in the same room when you work. Do not say yes to meetings that have no agenda. Do not engage in pointless arguments. Stop adding. Start subtracting. This is the power of the indigatia. You don't need their permission to quit things that are making you weak. You don't need their permission to remove toxic people from your life. You don't need their permission to say no.
It's not about being brilliant. It's about the discipline of not being stupid. Look at your life. You are drowning in things you need to remove. Your debt, your bad habits, your toxic relationships, your mental clutter. This is your new homework. This is your discipline. You must become a sculptor. A sculptor creates a masterpiece not by adding clay, but by chiseling away the excess. You must chisel away everything in your life that is fragile, everything that is a drain, everything that is stupid. This is how you build your 90% floor. You make it unbreakable by removing every crack. But this process of subtraction is hard. It means admitting you are wrong. It means owning your mistakes. It means facing your failures. Fragile people hide their failures. They blame others. They run from their mistakes. The anti-fragile mind does not run. The anti-fragile mind feasts. You have learned to remove fragility. Now you must learn to metabolize failure.
Chapter 7. Eat your failures before they eat you. Stop. Think about your last real failure. The big one. The one that still stings. Where did you put it? You buried it. You hid it. You blamed it on the economy. You blamed it on your boss. You blamed it on your team. You wrapped it in a story, a comfortable lie, so you wouldn't have to look at it. That failure is not gone. It is festering. It is a poison in your system. It is a ball of shame and resentment that is eating you alive from the inside out. This is the behavior of the fragile. The fragile mind runs from failure. Why? Because the fragile mind has no skin in the game. Skin in the game is the antidote to this poison. It is the core of anti-fragility. It means you are accountable. It means you have exposure to the consequences of your own actions. The fragile person hates skin in the game. They want the upside of success, but zero downside from failure. They want the bonus, but not the blame. So when the failure hits, they run. They lie. They hide. They blame. This blame game does one thing. It protects their fragile, pathetic ego. But it guarantees one other thing. The failure will happen again. It will happen again and again and again, because they refused to learn. They rejected the lesson. They threw away the data. You have a choice. You can continue to be fragile. You can continue to hide your failures and let them own you forever. Or you can become anti-fragile. You can eat your failures before they eat you. How? By owning them, immediately, publicly, and completely. This is the new discipline. It is a three-part command. Own the pain, own the data, own the growth. Let's break this down. First, own the pain. Failure should hurt. That pain is a signal. It is the most powerful teacher you will ever have. The fragile mind avoids this pain. It wasn't my fault. The anti-fragile mind leans into it. This was my fault.
You must choose to have skin in the game. You must stop hiding. The moment you take public ownership of a mistake, you feel the sting of accountability. That sting is good. It is the catalyst for change. The pain of public ownership forces a level of adaptation that private shame never can. Second, own the data. A failure is not a verdict. It is not who you are. A failure is data. It is expensive, hard-won information about what does not work. It is the world telling you this part of your system is broken. Fix it. The fragile mind corrupts this data. The numbers are wrong. The customer is stupid. The team is lazy. The anti-fragile mind studies this data. Why did this happen? Exactly. What was the precise flaw in my thinking? What was the exact weakness in my system? It's not about blame. It's about discipline. It's about autopsy. Third, own the growth. Data is useless if you do not act on it. Pain is wasted if it does not change you. Owning the growth means you immediately build a new system based on the data you acquired from the pain. You don't just say, "I'm sorry." You say, "This failed because of me. Here is the data I gathered from the failure, and here is the new system I am implementing right now to ensure it never happens again." Own the pain, own the data, own the growth. Let's look at the example. A major project deadline is missed. The client is furious. The fragile project manager immediately goes into defense mode. He calls a meeting. He blames his team. "You guys weren't fast enough." He blames the client. "They kept changing the scope." He blames another department. "Marketing overpromised." He scatters the blame. He protects his ego. He hides from the pain. What is the result? His team doesn't respect him. The client doesn't trust him. And nothing is learned. The same broken system is still in place. Next month, the exact same failure happens again. Now, let's look at the anti-fragile leader. The deadline is missed. The client is furious. She does not hide. She acts immediately. She sends one email to her entire team, her superiors, and the client. Subject: "We failed on this deadline. This is my failure." That is immediate. That is public. That is painful. She just put her skin in the game. Her email continues, "I have reviewed the entire process. The failure occurred because my system for tracking dependencies was inadequate, and I failed to communicate the risk clearly." She owned the pain. She owned the data. Then the final most important part? To correct this, I have already implemented a new two-stage review process. It is active now. This will not happen again. Here is the new revised timeline. She owned the growth. Who do you think the client trusts more? Who do you think the team respects more? The fragile manager lost respect and learned nothing. The anti-fragile leader gained respect and fixed the system. She ate the failure. She metabolized it. She used the pain as fuel to grow. This is your new mandate. You don't need their permission to be accountable. Stop running. Stop blaming. Stop hiding. That mistake you made last week? That person you let down? That goal you missed? Go to them. Own it. Do not make excuses. Say the words, "This was my fault." Feel the pain. Analyze the data. Build the new system. Own the pain. Own the data. Own the growth. You are done being fragile. You are done being a victim of your own mistakes. You have learned to stop adding stupidity via the negativa. You have learned to metabolize your failures by owning them. You are now building an unbreakable 90% floor for your barbell. You are building systems based on truth, not ego. You now understand that failure is a guarantee. Systems will be shocked. The modern world will tell you to make your systems efficient, to optimize them, to cut out all the fat. That is a trap. Efficiency is the new word for fragile. An efficient system has no room for error. It has no room for shock. You're done building fragile, efficient systems. You are ready to build a strong one. You are ready to master the difference between optimization and strength.
Chapter 8. Efficiency is fragile. Redundancy is strength. The modern world has sold you a lie. The lie is the word efficiency. You worship it. You are obsessed with it. You optimize your schedule down to the minute. You optimize your finances to zero-based budgets where every penny has a job. You optimize your career to become the one best specialist at one thing. You are building a just-in-time life, and you are building a house of glass. A just-in-time system, a 100% optimized system, is the most fragile system you can possibly create. Why? Because it has no room for error. It has no cushion. It has no slack. A system that is running at 100% capacity is a system that is one single shock away from total collapse. A single late flight, a single unexpected car repair, a single new technology that changes your one specialty, and your entire optimized life shatters. Optimization is brittle. Slack is strength. This is the law. Nature knows this. The optimized animal, the one that can only eat one specific plant, is the first to go extinct when a drought comes. The inefficient animal, the one that can eat 10 different things, thrives on the chaos. It has options. It has redundancy. You must stop being the optimized specialist. You must become the redundant, anti-fragile survivor. Let's look at the example. The fragile optimizer wants to build a business. He builds one massive, hyper-efficient mega factory. His spreadsheets look beautiful. His costs are low. He is a genius of optimization.
One day, a single flood hits the city where his one factory is. He is finished. He is bankrupt. The entire system collapsed because of one single predictable shock. Now, the anti-fragile builder. She is inefficient. She builds 3 smaller factories in 3 different cities. Her costs are higher. Her spreadsheets look messy. The optimizers laugh at her waste. One day, the same flood hits one of her factories. What happens? Nothing. The other 2 factories absorb the load. The slack in her system takes the hit. Her business doesn't even flinch. She sacrificed short-term efficiency for long-term invincibility. That's the key. Optimization is brittle. Slack is strength. You have a choice. You can keep building your efficient glass house, or you can build a fortress with slack. This applies to every single area of your life. Let's talk about your money. The fragile optimizer has a zero-based budget. Every dollar is allocated. He has no slack. Then his transmission fails, an $1,800 shock. What happens? Panic. He has to go into debt. He shatters his financial plan. The whole system breaks. The anti-fragile builder is inefficient. She has her war chest, a cash buffer, 6 months of living expenses sitting in a boring savings account. The optimizers scoff at her. That money is losing to inflation. It's not efficient. They are fools. That cash is not an investment. It is armor. It is redundancy. It is slack. When her transmission fails, it is not an emergency. It is an inconvenience. She pays for it. The fortress absorbs the shock. She doesn't even flinch. You don't need their permission to build a buffer. Let's talk about your career. The fragile optimizer has one skill. He is the best Java programmer at one company.
His entire identity and entire income are tied to one single thread. Then AI learns to code in Java. Or his one company has layoffs. He is obsolete. He is zero. The anti-fragile builder is redundant. She has her 90% job, the barbell, but she uses her 10% speculation time to build Slack. She learns 2 new skills. She learns how to sell. She learns how to manage a team. She builds a second, small income stream. She is distracted. She is not 100% optimized. Then her industry gets hit. She pivots. The slack in her skill set becomes her new main career. The shock that destroyed the optimizer promoted her. Optimization is brittle. Slack is strength. Let's talk about your time. Look at your calendar. Is it optimized? Is it full? Back-to-back meetings? 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.? You are fragile. A single meeting running 10 minutes over causes a cascade of failure for your entire day. You have no room to think. You have no room for opportunity. The anti-fragile mind builds in redundancy. It builds in slack. It schedules empty blocks, thinking time, walk time. This looks like waste to the fragile busy fool, but this is the discipline. Slack is not empty space. Slack is the room for opportunity to appear. Slack is the buffer that lets you handle the unexpected winning phone call. It's not about being lazy. It's about being ready. Stop worshiping efficiency. It is a trap. Your new discipline is redundancy. Intentionally build a buffer of money, a buffer of time, a buffer of skills. This is how you build your 90% unbreakable floor. You build it with slack. You have stopped adding stupidity. You have learned to eat your failures. You have built your fortress of redundancy. Your external life, your system, is now strong. It is ready for the shock. But what about you? What about the person living inside that fortress? You can have a fortress of cash and a redundant set of skills, but what happens if your identity is still fragile? What happens if your entire sense of self is optimized and tied to one single thing? I am a CEO. I am a doctor. I am a millionaire. I am a winner. What happens when you lose that title? What happens when you lose that money? The fortress stands, but the person inside shatters. You have secured your external world. Now it is time to secure your internal one. You must burn your old fragile identity and forge a new, unbreakable one.
Chapter 9. Burn your old identity, forge a new one. Who are you? Stop. Answer the question. You say, I am a manager. I am a lawyer. I am an entrepreneur. I am a parent. I am a straight-A student. I am a winner. These are your answers. These are your labels. And these labels are the last and most dangerous piece of glass you are clinging to. You have built a fortress for your life. You've built your barbell. You've built your redundancy. You have a system that is anti-fragile. But what about the person inside the fortress? What happens when the system holds, but you shatter? This is the final, most important battle: your identity. Your identity as you know it is a costume. It is a mask. It is a fragile noun that was given to you by someone else. CEO is a title a board gives you. They can take it away. Millionaire is a title the market gives you. It can take it away. Champion is a title the judges give you. They can take it away. You have tethered your entire sense of self to an outcome you do not and cannot fully control. This is the definition of fragility. When you lose that job, when you lose that money, when you lose that match, you don't just experience a setback, you experience an identity crisis, an ego death.
You think, if I am not a CEO, what am I? I am nothing. You are a noun, and a noun is static. A noun is dead. Do not be a noun, be a verb. This is the new law. This is the final transformation. You must burn that old, brittle identity. You must stop defining yourself by outcomes you cannot control. You must forge a new identity, an unbreakable identity, an identity forged in process, an identity built on verbs, the actions that you control. Do not be a noun, be a verb. Let's look at the example, the fragile champion. His name is, let's call him Winner. His entire identity is the noun champion. He is the gold medal. He is the trophy. His self-worth comes entirely from the outcome of winning.
He trains, but he trains from a place of fear, the fear of losing his identity. One day, he has an injury, a career-ending injury. The outcome of winning is now impossible. The noun champion is stripped from him, and he collapses. He becomes depressed. He is bitter. He is lost because the one thing he was is now gone. His identity was external, and the external world took it. He is fragile. Now let's look at the anti-fragile athlete. Her identity is not champion. Her identity is a verb: to train, to compete, to push. Her identity is the process. Her self-worth comes entirely from the discipline of doing the work. She has the same career-ending injury. She feels the pain. She feels the disappointment, but she does not break. Why? Because her identity is untouched. She can no longer compete on the field? Fine. Her process just shifts. Her new process becomes the verb to rehab. She attacks her physical therapy with the same discipline she had on the field. Her new process becomes to study. She breaks down film. She learns the strategy of her sport. Her new process becomes to teach. She becomes a coach. She takes her discipline and forges it into others. She never stopped being who she was. The process simply adapted to the stressor. The injury that destroyed the noun deepened the verb. That's the key. Do not be a noun. Be a verb. You have a choice right now. You can continue to cling to your fragile, external, noun-based identity, or you can burn it to the ground and build a new one. It's not about ego. It's about discipline. You are not a writer. That is a noun. You are a person who writes. That is a verb. A writer who gets a rejection letter is a failure. A person who writes simply writes again. You are not an entrepreneur. That is a noun. You are a person who builds, who solves, who sells. An entrepreneur whose business fails is a failure. A person who builds simply builds something new. You are not a good person. That is a static, self-congratulatory noun. You are a person who practices honesty, who acts with courage, who shows up with compassion. When you fail, when you act selfishly, you don't stop being a good person. You own the failure, chapter 7, and you get back to the work. You return to the verb. Do not be a noun. Be a verb. A noun is. It is static. It is brittle. A verb does. It is action. It is adaptable. It is anti-fragile. A noun-based identity fears failure because failure breaks the noun. A verb-based identity eats failure because failure is data to improve the verb. You don't need their permission to define yourself. You don't need a title. You don't need a trophy. You don't need a bank account. You need your discipline. You need your process. You need your verb. You have done the work. You have rejected the lie of resilience. You have embraced the barbell. You have subtracted your weaknesses. You have eaten your failures. You have built your fortress of redundancy. And now you have burned your fragile identity. You are no longer a noun waiting to be broken. You are a
a verb. You are a force. You are a process. The system is complete. The person is forged. You are ready. You are no longer afraid of disorder. You are no longer surviving disorder. You are ready to gain from it. You are ready for the final test. You are ready for the final command.
Chapter 10. The Final Command. Seek Disorder. You have arrived at the end. You have listened. You have absorbed the theory. You have confronted the lies you were taught. And I am telling you, right now, none of it matters. It is all useless. It is wasted time. It is nothing until you do the work. This is not a philosophy. This is not an interesting concept to debate. This is not something you understand. This is a training manual, and your training ends today. Your test begins now. For the last 90 minutes, you have been a listener. You have been passive. From this moment forward, you are a practitioner. You are active. You have burned your old identity. You are no longer a noun. You are a verb. And the verb for this new life is to seek. What challenges you changes you. Seek the challenge. Your old life was a quest for comfort. You ran from stress. You hid from disorder. You built a cage of predictability. And you decayed. Your new life is a hunt for stimulus. You run toward the stress. You metabolize the disorder. You break the cage every single day. You must do this. It's not a choice if you want to grow. It is a law. The muscle must have the load, or it atrophies. Your mind is no different. Your character is no different. You must voluntarily apply the load. You must become the stressor. This is your new daily practice. This is the proof of your transformation. I am giving you your new orders. You will follow them. First, you will seek physical stress. This starts the moment you wake up. You have your first choice of the day, the hot shower or the cold one. The hot shower is comfort. It is decay. It is the old you. The cold shower is a shock. It is a stimulus. It is a conscious choice to choose the hard path. You will choose the cold. It's not about the cold. It's about the discipline. It's about the first victory of the day. It is you proving to yourself within the first 10 minutes of being awake that you are in command. That you, not your comfort, are in charge. This is your first hunt. What challenges you changes you. Seek the challenge. Second, you will seek intellectual stress. Your mind has become soft. You live in an echo chamber. You read the same opinions. You listen to the same podcasts. You only talk to people who agree with you. You have built a comfortable cage for your intellect. That is fragile. You must break it. Your command is this. Once a week, you will intentionally read a book, an article, or listen to a credible argument from someone you know you disagree with. You are not doing this to change your mind. You are doing this to strengthen your mind.
That's the key. It's not about being right. It's about the discipline of being challenged. You must force your brain to build counterarguments, not just hide from the enemy. You will stop being intellectually fragile. You will stop being afraid of ideas. You will hunt the opposing viewpoint. What challenges you, changes you. Seek the challenge. Third, you will seek novelty stress. You are trapped in a rut. You call it efficiency. You are brittle. You take the same route to work, you eat the same lunch, you follow the same routine. Your brain is asleep. It is atrophying. You must force it to wake up. You will intentionally inject novelty into your optimized life. You will take a different route to work. You will talk to a stranger. You will learn a new skill that is hard and uncomfortable.
You will rearrange the furniture in your room. You must break the pattern. You must force your brain to map a new path. A brain that is constantly adapting to small, novel shocks is a brain that does not panic when the big shock comes. What challenges you, changes you. Seek the challenge. Fourth, and most important, you will seek emotional stress. This is the big one. This is the one you run from. You know the conversation you have been avoiding, the one with your boss about your performance, the one with your partner about the real problem, the one with your friend where you must set a boundary, the one where you must own your failure. Chapter 7. That conversation, the one that makes your stomach turn, that is your target. That is the dragon. You will hunt it. You don't need their permission to speak the truth. You have a choice. You can let that fear live inside you, festering, growing, owning you, or you can face it. You can walk into that room. You can have the hard conversation. It's not about winning the argument. It's about the discipline of not running away. This is your new life. This is the work, the cold shower, the opposing book, the new route, the hard conversation. This is your daily vaccine against fragility. Life will throw a massive, random, uncontrolled shock at you. It will be a pink slip. It will be a bad diagnosis. It will be a betrayal. It will be a crisis. That day is coming. You cannot control when. You cannot control what. You can only control who you are when that day arrives. You have a choice. You can wait for that day, soft, comfortable, and fragile, and be shattered by it. Or you can train for it. You can forge yourself in the daily fire of controlled disorder so that when the real fire comes, you do not burn, you do not break, you do not endure. You smile, and you say, I have been waiting for you. I am ready. This is the anti-fragile mindset. It is not a philosophy. It is a command. You have the tools. You have the system. You are no longer the person who started this audiobook. You know the lie. You know the truth. You're done listening. You are ready to begin. You are ready for your new life. You have reached the end, but this is not the end. It is the beginning. You came here seeking resilience. You leave understanding that resilience is surrender. You were taught to fear disorder. You now know that disorder is your only path to growth. You thought comfort was the goal. You now know that comfort is decay. You thought stress was the enemy. You now know that stress is the signal. You are not a glass window waiting to be shattered. You are not a rock stubbornly refusing to change. You are a muscle. You require the load. You demand the pressure. You feast on the chaos. Stop predicting. Stop optimizing. Stop hiding. Stop blaming. Start subtracting. Start building your barbell. Start owning your failures. Your training is over. Your test has begun. The world will try to break you. Let it try. Your new life starts today.